Your grandfather farmed 400 acres, 40 horsepower. You farm 400 acres, 400 horsepower. Same land, 10 times the power. Wow. In 1965, your grandfather bought a Farmall M40 horsepower, 4 cylinders, $18,000. He farmed, planted corn, harvested soybeans, made a living, paid off the tractor in 5 years, kept it running for 40. In 2024, you bought a John Deere 8R. It's 400 horsepower, 6 cylinders turbocharged, $380,000. You farm, plant corn, harvest soybeans, make a living. You'll be paying on this tractor for 20 years. It'll be obsolete in 15. Same acres, same crops, same work, but 10 times the horsepower, 21 times the price. Something happened between 1965 and 2024. Not gradually, 3 specific pressures: speed, equipment, land, and together they turned farming from ownership to debt. Speed first. Your grandfather planted corn at 3 acres per hour, 4-row planter, 6 miles per hour, slow, deliberate. 40 horsepower was enough. He'd start in May, work 10 hours a day, 30 acres daily, 14 days to plant 400 acres. 2 weeks, the corn went in, it grew, it yielded. Nobody said he was too slow. You plant corn at 30 acres per hour, 48-row planter. It's 8 miles per hour, fast, relentless, 400 horsepower, barely enough. You start in May, work 14 hours a day, 420 acres daily, 1 day to plant 400 acres. 1 day, the corn goes in, it grows, it yields the same, but everyone says you must go faster. The first pressure was speed. Work faster or fall behind. In the 1960s, planting windows were 3 weeks wide, weather patterns stable, spring rains predictable. You had time, 40 horsepower sufficient. By the 1990s, windows compressed to 10 days, weather erratic, rain in violent bursts, narrow windows between storms. Agricultural advisors said bigger tractors, more horsepower, plant faster, because missing the window meant lower yields, and margins were thin. But your grandfather missed windows too. Rain delayed him. Equipment broke. He planted late sometimes. The corn still grew, maybe 5% less, maybe 10 in a bad year. Yeah, but he didn't have a $380,000 payment, so 5% less yield didn't destroy him. The speed pressure was real, but it was also manufactured. Seed companies bred hybrids with narrow windows. Crop insurance penalized late planting. Agronomists demanded precision timing. Faster was better, and faster required horsepower. By 2000, 100 wasn't enough. By 2010, 200 wasn't enough. By 2020, 300 wasn't enough. The treadmill accelerated. And you ran faster just to stay in place, equipment second. Your grandfather's 4-row planter weighed 2,000 pounds. Mechanical seed meters, ground-driven chains, no electronics. 40 horsepower pulled it easily. Cost, $4,000. Your 48-row planter weighs 42,000 pounds. Electronic vacuum meters, hydraulic down pressure, GPS section control, variable rate capability. 400 horsepower pulls it, barely. Cost, $500,000, same job. It's seed and ground, 21 times the weight, 100 times the complexity, 125 times the price. Why? Efficiency. Equipment dealer said efficiency. A 48-row plant's 12 times faster than a 4-row. Save time, save labor, save fuel per acre. All true, but nobody mentioned the cost. $500,000 for the planter, $380,000 for the tractor, $880,000 total. To plant the same 400 acres your grandfather planted with $22,000 of equipment, the efficiency savings were real. The financial cost catastrophic. Your grandfather planted 400 acres in 14 days. 14 days of his time. 300 gallons of diesel. Equipment paid off in 5 years. You plant 400 acres in 1 day. 1 day of your time. 200 gallons of diesel. Equipment financed for 20 years. You saved 13 days of labor. You saved 100 gallons of fuel. You mortgaged 2 decades. The equipment arms race created a trap. Bigger planters needed bigger tractors. Bigger tractors enabled bigger planters. Each generation pulled the next one larger, and farmers who didn't keep up were told they'd fail. So they bought bigger, borrowed more, because the alternative was going out of business, or so everyone said. Land third, your grandfather farmed 400 acres. His farm, his land, his father's before him. 400 acres was enough. Corn, soybeans, wheat, crop rotation. Livestock, made a living, raised a family. 40 horsepower sufficient. You farmed 2,000 acres. You're 400. The neighbor's 400 when he retired. The next neighbor's 600 when he went bankrupt. Another 600 you're renting from an investor, 2,000 acres. 5 times your grandfather's farm, 400 horsepower necessary, because 2,000 acres is too much for 40 horsepower. But here's the question, why are you farming 2,000 acres? In 1965, your county had 250 farmers, and each farming 300 to 500 acres. 90,000 acres total. All farmed, all productive. In 2024, your county has 45 farmers, each farming 1,500 to 3,000 acres. 90,000 acres total, farmed, all productive, same land, same production, 205 fewer farmers. What happened? They got out. Couldn't get big fast enough. Margins compressed, equipment costs exploded, commodity prices flat while inputs tripled. The only way to survive was spreading fixed costs over more acres. Bigger tractors enabled more acres. More acres required bigger tractors. The cycle fed itself. Farmers who couldn't expand couldn't afford equipment. Farmers who couldn't afford equipment couldn't compete. So they sold or went bankrupt. And remaining farmers absorbed their land and bought bigger tractors. Get big or get out wasn't advice. It was prophecy, and it came true. The numbers tell the story. Your grandfather's Farmall M at $18,000, 40 horsepower, $450 per horsepower. Your John Deere 8 upper, $380,000, 400 horsepower, $950 per horsepower. Horsepower costs doubled, even after inflation. But that's not the worst part. Your grandfather paid him, saved for 3 years, bought outright, owned completely, no interest, no payments, no debt. You financed, 20-year loan, 6% interest. Joe, $2,700 monthly. Total paid, $648,000 for a tractor that cost $380,000. $268,000 in interest, 70% of the price, just interest. And in 15 years, when software becomes obsolete, you'll still owe 5 years, $162,000 on a tractor you can't use. Your grandfather's tractor lasted 40 years, $18,000 paid once, sold for $12,000 at retirement. Net cost, $6,000, $150 per year. Met for 40 years. Your tractor will last 15 years, $648,000 paid total. Trade-in maybe $150. Net cost, $498,000, $33,000 per year for 15 years, 220 times more expensive per year. To farm the same 400 acres, what did you gain? Speed, efficiency, technology, GPS, variable rate, yield monitoring, section control, equipment your grandfather never imagined, and debt for 20 years. What did you lose? Your grandfather owned his equipment. You finance yours. He worked at his pace. You race time. He slept confident. You calculate payments. He farmed 40 years on 1 tractor. You'll farm 40 years on 3, maybe 4. He had peace. You have efficiency. And efficiency costs $33,000 per year. This isn't nostalgia. It's math. Speed pressure. Equipment arms race. Land consolidation. Each rational in isolation. Destructive in combination. Your grandfather wasn't smarter. You're not wasteful. The system changed, and the system made 400 horsepower seem necessary. But it wasn't. Smaller farmers still exist. 400 acres, 100 horsepower, planting slower, taking longer, making less per acre, but keeping more because equipment is paid off. They're told they're inefficient, that they can't compete, that they'll fail, but they're still there, still farming. Wheat's still solvent. While farmers with 400 horsepower refinance debt, your grand at Deere's Farmall M is still running, 59 years old. A young farmer bought it at auction, uses it for projects, mowing, moving equipment, starts every time, runs all day, needs oil and fuel, still working, still owned, still debt-free. Your 8R won't make 59 years. Software will be obsolete, parts discontinued, support ended. And you'll still be making payments on a tractor you can't use. What horsepower did your grandfather run? What horsepower do you run? How many acres then? How many now? Did the debt grow faster than the acres? Share below. Fellow farmers, if we're going to understand how we got here, we need to see the progression. One tractor at a time.